What is going on, family? Hope everyone's having a great day, great night, wherever you're watching this from. I had an interesting conversation with someone today, and it sparked something in me. Good conversations are, I ain't gonna lie, they're hard to come by sometimes. And I'm the kind of individual that if we can't have a platonic conversation, an intellectual conversation, then I really don't talk to people, and my circle is very small. That's enough about me. I know you all are wondering, all this other stuff, but let's go ahead and get right into our topic because we have to be careful, when we're lonely. Because I'm lonely. Loneliness is a very familiar place to a lot of us. It's sad to say, you can be in a relationship and be lonely. The person can love you correctly and you still be lonely. The problem with people that are in relationships that are lonely is not the person's responsibility to keep you at a place that you're not feeling lonely. You're lonely because you don't know who you are. You're lonely because you're trying to find your identity in a relationship. You're trying to find your identity in a marriage, and you have to find yourself. It is so important, you all. Do not get in relationships or don't get married because you're lonely, because you're not always going to be happy. And so that happiness starts with you. You find your own happiness. You find your peace. You find your joy. These are things you have to find for yourself. So never get involved with someone based off of loneliness. And here's the thing. Don't think that because you're married and because they do everything right in your life, you're always going to be happy, because it's not going to be the case. All right. You have to find that. So I wrote down some things and we're just going to talk about it. We're going to vibe with a little bit. Give me about 5 minutes. Video not too long. I try to make it as short and simple and sweet and get right to the key points as quick as I can. I really don't write stuff down. I really go off the top of my dome and I just flow with it, all right? But I did write down some things as I was walking today. We give them time because we're lonely. A lot of us, we get involved with people. We get lonely. We want the chemistry, we want the interaction of somebody else. So let's get up, let's go out and grab something to eat because we're lonely. We're looking for that place, and then we still realize we're still lonely. We want to be involved with someone. We want a relationship with someone. We want to be married someday. These are things we all desire because this is just, the way life is. You want to spend your life with somebody. Nobody wants to be alone. So we give our time to people because we're lonely, but that's still dangerous. Because you give them your time and your attention in that space, it creates, we'll get into that, unhealthy attachments, all right? Conversations are created because we're lonely. So a lot of times, people that are in relationships will communicate with somebody else because they're lonely. Not because they're lonely in a marriage or relationship, but because they're lonely in themselves. They're lonely with themselves. They don't understand how to keep themselves focused and occupied. They don't understand that anytime you bring someone into your circle that is not supposed to be there, it's not because you're lonely. It's because you have not really found that place within your own personal life to create and say, you know what, I should not be doing this. You don't want to put people in the wrong space and place, because what happens is it creates unhealthy attachments, not only for yourself, but for the person that's involved, because now you all are communicating, and that communication opens the door to other things. And we're going to talk about that later on too, not in this video, but another video. This loneliness creates false expectations. You have to be careful. False expectations. The communication, the time that you're spending with this individual, you're only with them because you're lonely. You're only communicating with them because you're lonely. You're only spending time with them because you're lonely. And it creates false expectations for the person that wants more from you. But you don't realize that, because now you're entertaining them and you're putting them at a place that it makes them think, they say, hey, maybe there's a chance I can get her. I know she got somebody else. I know he was somebody else. But you know what? I don't care, because now she's making it seem like she's really interested in me, or he's really interested in me. But we don't see that. So this is the reason why you have to limit the conversations and the communication with people that would not respect your relationship. And here's the thing, you all. You have to put up those boundaries. If you don't put up those boundaries, it's not about loneliness. It's about you being, it's about your character, because what you do a lot in your relationship speaks a lot about your character. And it's also about you not understanding that, you know what, is your relationship much more important than you open the door because you feel lonely and you feel the need to communicate with somebody else besides the person that you're with, your spouse, or you're in a relationship. An emotional connection that cannot be explained but misinterpreted. It creates an emotional connection that cannot be explained, but is misinterpreted. And what happens is the people that you connect with, there is an emotional connection that is built from that. And it's misinterpreted because you're not trying to draw them in. It's just happening that way. And they're drawn to you just based off of the time and the energy and the exchange of words and everything that's taking place, because now they're drawn closer to you. They don't understand it. You don't understand why they're feeling the way they're feeling because you're saying, well, I'm not doing anything. All of them is communicating with them. Your communication is energy, you are. Your communication opens the door to the realities and the thoughts and the fascinations that you are giving this individual, and you don't even understand that. And this is the reason why you have to be very careful with who you communicate with, because everybody does not need to be in your circle. Everybody does not need to be in your space, because everybody that's in your space always wants more. And the people that want more, they deserve more, because these are people that you really look up to. These are people that you acknowledge. These are people that you love. And these are the people that if you're in a relationship, that's all you need right now. You don't need nobody else. It doesn't matter how fine she looks. It doesn't matter how good he looks. It doesn't matter if you're feeling lonely and I want to reach out to him. I just want to see how he's doing or how she's doing. It doesn't do anything else but creates false pretense and misinterpreted emotional connections that cannot be explained. All right. Secret conversations while in a relationship creates unhealthy bonds. Secret conversations in a relationship creates unhealthy bonds. And what happens is the boundaries that you have in your relationship is cut, is severed. Because now the person that you're communicating with doesn't even understand that there's boundaries. Because now you have given them a reason to overstep those boundaries. And you don't realize that. Yeah, your conversation is innocent, but you have to understand everything that's innocent is not always innocent. And we don't understand that, you all. And what it does, it puts everything in a different perspective. It puts your relationship at risk, and you're trying to figure out why you're feeling the way you're feeling, because you're feeding this person the exchange of energy and the exchange of words and the emotions and the things that you all are talking about are just much more than just talk. You can't talk to everybody. All right. We'll do another video on that too. People you have dated while in a relationship creates unhealthy bonds. This is the reason why I always talk about exes. You can't be friends with your exes, because it's impossible to go from people. And let me say that I ain't gonna say exes. People that you have dated create unhealthy bonds because they're not going to respect your relationship. You can talk about, oh yeah, she's amazing, he's amazing, I love her, I love him, this, that, this, and that. Oh, that's good. I'm happy for y'all. Oh, we're gonna have a barbecue. We're gonna hang out. But then the first thing she finds out, who is this chick right here? And who is that guy? Oh, that's my ex-girlfriend. That's her new boyfriend. She's gonna be like, what in the world? Why are they here? Oh, that's a guy I dated. You know, like, he's gonna be like, what? He don't need to be here. I don't want him here. The reason why is because there's a history there. There's a connection that's there. There's an emotional connection there that cannot be broken. Again, we'll talk about that later on too. That's some good stuff. You will have many people looking for more than one connection without even realizing. You will have people looking for more than one connection without even realizing it, from them being lonely. And what happens is this one connection that they're looking for, they will want to connect with the person outside. Put it like this. When they're not at the house and they're communicating with someone else, they're doing that because they're lonely. They're doing that because they're ignorant. I'm just being real with y'all. All right. But they still want that same connection with their spouse. They still want that same connection with their girlfriend, their boyfriend, but they still want the connection with everybody else. And they don't realize that. And that connection is so unhealthy. So you all, if you're lonely, deal with you. Don't blame her. Don't blame him. Don't blame nobody else. The loneliness that you're dealing with is something on the inside of you. Maybe there's some unsevered issues. Maybe there's some insecurities that you still have to deal with from your past, some past trauma, some things from your divorce, some things. These are the things that you have to deal with because they're so unhealthy. Loneliness is a part of life. If you're lonely, pray. If you're lonely, get some help. Sit down with a relationship life coach. Sit down with a therapist, all right? I need you all to think about this, all right? So until then, have a blessed day. Always remember, there's a moment in your life, God is bigger than this moment, and that's the reason why we got to continue to press. Have a blessed and wonderful day.